What do you do when the one person you've trusted your entire life becomes the one person who ruins it? This is the story of a single night with my grandpa Frank that turned my world upside down. It's a night that ended with an outcome I never thought was possible: pregnancy. I know how it sounds. It feels impossible, and it's hard to even say out loud, but it's the truth. I can't hide from it anymore. I know you might think I'm making this up, but it really happened, and I need to get it off my chest. This story is going to shock you, but I promise every word of it is real. My name is Isabella. I'm here to share something that has been a heavy weight on my soul for a long time. It's one of those life-altering moments that you never see coming, yet it changes the direction of your life forever. Now, I carry it with me every single day. The shame, the guilt, and a secret that feels like a prison. It all started with my grandpa Frank. To me, he wasn't just a grandparent. He was my hero. He was the person who always had my back no matter what. He was the one who taught me about life, how to be strong, and what it meant to be loved. I looked up to him more than anyone else. We had so many good times together: his loud laugh, his quiet wisdom, and those long talks we used to have on the porch. For 18 years, our relationship was completely normal and innocent. Grandpa Frank was my safe harbor. When life got rough, I went to him. He was the man who taught me how to ride a bike without training wheels. He was the one who sat at the kitchen table for hours helping me with math homework. He always knew exactly what to say when I was struggling or feeling down. He had this special way of making me feel like I was the most important person in the room. I cherished that bond more than anything. But then, things started to shift. It wasn't a sudden change. It was slow, like a shadow creeping across a room. At first, I didn't even want to admit I noticed it. I started catching him looking at me in a way that didn't feel like Grandpa looks anymore. His eyes would stay on me just a few seconds too long. The way he talked to me started to feel different, too personal, almost like he was trying to be intimate. I kept telling myself I was just being paranoid. I mean, this was Grandpa Frank. He was the person I trusted most. As the days passed, those weird moments started adding up. One night, we were sitting on the couch watching a movie, and he rested his hand on mine. He didn't move it for a long time, and it felt heavy and wrong. Then there were the compliments. He stopped telling me he was proud of my grades or my soccer games. Instead, he started talking about my looks. He told me I was beautiful in a tone that made my skin crawl. I kept asking myself if I was making a big deal out of nothing. But deep down, I knew the warmth and safety I used to feel around him were gone, replaced by a tension I didn't understand. That brings us to the night everything broke. I was in my room, trying to hide from the confusion I'd been feeling for weeks. It was late, the house was dead silent, and I thought I was alone. My head was a mess of emotions: loneliness, curiosity, and a strange energy I couldn't explain. I laid back on my bed and let my mind drift. My hands started to wander. At first, it was just a way to relax and let go of the stress building up inside me. As I got lost in the feeling, I started exploring my own body in ways I never had before. It was all so new and exciting. My heart was racing, and I closed my eyes, sinking into the moment. I was so focused on myself that I didn't hear the door. I didn't hear the soft creak of the wood or the sound of footsteps on the carpet. I was completely disconnected from the world around me. My breath was heavy, and my body felt like it was on fire. Then, the world shattered. I opened my eyes and saw him. Grandpa Frank was standing right there in the doorway. His face was frozen. My stomach did a somersault, and a wave of pure panic hit me. I scrambled to pull the covers over my body, my hands shaking so hard I could barely move. My face was burning with shame. I've never felt so humiliated in my life. My heart was beating so loud, I thought it might explode. "Please," I whispered, my voice cracking. "Please don't tell anyone." I couldn't even look at him. I felt like a little kid who had been caught doing something terrible. I wanted to melt into the floor and disappear forever. But he didn't leave. Instead, he stepped into the room and shut the door behind him. The look on his face changed. He wasn't angry or shocked anymore. He looked different. He sat on the edge of my bed. His voice was calm, but it had a scary firmness to it. If you want me to keep this a secret, he said slowly, there's something I need from you. At first, I didn't get it. My brain was working overtime, trying to understand what he was saying. But then he reached out and touched my arm. In that second, my whole world tilted. This wasn't my grandpa. This was a stranger making a demand I couldn't believe. I wanted to scream or run, but I was paralyzed. I was trapped. I sat there shivering, my mind racing in a million directions. I couldn't believe the man who was supposed to protect me was now using my own private moment to blackmail me. Isabella, he said, his voice cold. You don't want your parents to find out about this, do you? Think about how it would look. It would ruin the family. It would ruin you. His words felt like knives. I couldn't breathe. The shame was suffocating. I clutched the blanket and started crying. Please, Grandpa, I'll do anything. Just don't tell them. I felt so small and powerless. He leaned in closer, his face unreadable. There's only one way to make sure this stays between us, he told me. You have to prove you trust me. When I realized what he meant, it felt like the floor had been pulled out from under me. I tried to say no, but the words wouldn't come out. I was too scared of what would happen if the secret got out. You don't have a choice, he reminded me. If people find out, it destroys everything. I looked down at my hands. My knuckles were white from gripping the sheets. I was shaking from head to toe. I felt like I was drowning in a nightmare. Okay, I whispered. The word felt like it didn't even come from me. Okay, I'll do it. As soon as I said it, I felt a wave of regret, but it was too late. He just nodded and stood up like it was a normal business deal. The days that followed were a complete blur. I tried to act like I could just forget it happened. I tried to bury the memory so deep that it would never see the light of day. But soon, my body started acting weird. I thought it was just the stress, but then the morning sickness started. I felt heavy and sick all the time. I tried to ignore it, but deep down I knew. One afternoon, I stood in the bathroom holding a pregnancy test. My hands were shaking so much I almost dropped it. I kept telling myself it would be negative, that there was no way. But as I watched the lines appear, my heart stopped. 2 lines. Positive. I sank to the floor, still holding that plastic stick. I cried until I couldn't cry anymore. How could this happen? How was I going to survive this? I thought about my mom and dad. I thought about how they would look at me. And I thought about him. We had a pact to keep that night a secret, but a baby isn't a secret you can keep forever. I felt so alone. I had nobody to talk to and nowhere to go. My life was never going to be the same again. Every time I look in the mirror, I don't see the girl I used to be. I see a girl carrying a burden that is too heavy for anyone to bear. I know this is a lot to take in. It's a heavy story, but it's my reality. I'm sharing it because I know there are other people out there carrying secrets that are eating them alive. If you've ever felt trapped or like your life changed in an instant because of someone you trusted, I want to hear from you. What would you do? How would you handle this? Let's talk in the comments. This is a place for us to support each other. If you want to see what happens next in my journey, please subscribe and hit the bell. There is so much more to tell.